Welcome, everyone, to another episode of Signal 11 Outdoors. And this man doesn't need an introduction either. It seems like all my guests don't need an introduction. Gen Wong is with us today. How are you, Gen?
Hey, Steve, what's up, man?
No, not much. Just keeping busy doing this whole new thing for me, this podcast thing. But it's been a lot of fun. So, how are
I've
you
been
doing?
watching them. They're awesome.
Good,
I
good.
recently
I
saw
appreciate.
the Brett Favre one. That was really good. And of course, me
Yeah,
being a Packer fan since I'm like 5 years old, or since I could talk, and Brett
really
Favre was the man. He got a Super Bowl for us. I had to watch that one. That was really good.
good. Yeah,
Uh,
he was an awesome guest, and you know, I was never really I was never a Green Bay fan, but Brett has always been, I think, in my eyes, probably one of the top quarterbacks of all time. And watching him, you obviously as a Green Bay fan, and me as a big football fan, getting to watch him play. I mean, I did the interview with him, and I still go back and last night I was just scrolling through, looking at some different things, and I watched his highlights again. And I'm still blown away by the stuff he did.
oh, he was amazing. I mean, all right, I'm a Packer fan, I've tainted my kids. They've been Packer fans since they were little, and they still are. And they love him too because he got us a Super Bowl. I mean,
Yeah.
not many guys did that, and it was really good. I actually sent them the link to that podcast because I know they don't want to see their one of their heroes, Brett Favre,
That's
and
cool.
talking to
Well,
my man Steve, the
nice. Yeah,
Signal
talking to Jen.
11
Listen,
man.
the interesting thing that I'm talking to you now, we're going to talk about fishing here. Is that you got some similarities to Brett Favre? Did you know that?
No, not
Uh,
really. That
all
sounds
right.
kind of funny.
All right. Well, I didn't know you were a Brett Favre fan before we talked, or a Green Bay fan before we talked to that. But
Right.
the similarities are that Brett Favre, in my opinion, and probably a lot of people who are a lot more intelligent about football than me, one of the rawest, pure forms of quarterback talent at that, ever. Just
Oh yeah.
pure, natural, raw talent to just make things happen. So, where's the similarities to Gen Wong? Jen, honestly, in all honesty, I was talking about you to somebody today, to my friend Jeff. You know Jeff, Wanamaker. I was talking to Jeff, and I was talking to him about you and saying how you're one of them guys that no matter what you're fishing for, you are. And it's not only me saying it. You fish with a lot of guys that say the same thing. You just have the ability to catch fish, figure it out, and make it look easy. So we're going to talk about fishing, and I kind of tied you to Brett Favre. I don't know. I don't know what you think
Wow.
of that, but
That's crazy, but okay.
uh, yeah, that's awesome, dude. So let's get into it. We're talking to Jen. For those of you who don't know him, I've met Jen probably, I don't even know, probably 5 years ago, maybe Jen, four or
Oh,
5 years
more than
ago.
that. It's been a
More is it?
while.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
has. Okay, I'm sorry. When I was when I was introduced to you, a friend of ours, mutual friend Timmy Fireman, had said, "Oh, you're gonna come and fish. You're gonna meet this guy Jen. He's a really good fisherman." And I hear that a lot. So getting to meet you has been really a blessing for me, and I enjoy
Uh,
fishing with you. You're
oh,
also a
thanks.
character. You're definitely a character,
Yeah,
and
that's me.
you're building up one heck of a social media following, and people know you on there, and you're actually, I think you're going to start doing cooking videos next because we all enjoy watching
Oh
you cook
God,
your
yeah.
meals.
Yeah, I love
So
doing that. That pisses
yeah,
everybody off when I do close-up shots of the food. Everybody gets hungry.
yeah, nobody shuts it off though. They all watch it. So
And they bitch about it.
let's dive into the water. Let's talk about fishing. So there's a lot to cover with you for fishing. We're not going to try to cover everything because I am friends with Jen, and I already told him he's the kind of guy that can come on here anytime he wants. He's got an open invitation. So um, we're talking about the season, the saltwater season. We'll talk about salt. We could talk about some freshwater stuff too. Um, Trout season is opened up. Striper season, um, fluke season just opened in Jersey. So let's hit a couple of those things. If you would start out with just give us a couple details on some of the really good fish and stuff you caught of recent. The people that follow you, you post so much stuff that I think people think that you have everything archived, and it's not. It's current current fishing, you are one of them guys that is out hammering it all the time. So go ahead, Jen, jump in. Let us know what you got going on or of recent.
Yeah, I mean, actually, I got a lot of trips coming up, and some of my main freshwater, like I start fishing. I actually don't stop fishing until ice normally, but this year we had ice, like real fishable ice fishing ice, and I never did it. So I got invited by a bunch of my friends, and I said, all right, it was the first time I ice fished, and actually I kind of liked it. I even bought some stuff, the tip ups and the little rods and the lures and all that stuff. And it was actually fun. I guess it was, because we hadn't had real ice, a real winter around here in a couple of years. So that was good. But then once we had a thaw, that's my thing. Open water. I mean, and everything starts like usually January, but since we had ice, I didn't have open water until I think mid-February. We started having open water on some of my bigger impoundments, my bigger reservoirs that I like to fish. And that's
Right.
that was actually perfect timing because I fish for everything. I don't care what it is. If it swims, it got fins, and it bites, lures, I fish for it. So I usually start off with pickerel. Caught some big pickerel this year, and early spring they start feeding first, and those will be the biggest ones you'll catch all year because they're loaded with eggs, and they're feeding up. They're feeding up, so then they could go pair up, mate, and make nests and do their thing and reproduce. But those will be the biggest ones of the whole year, and I start out with that. But of course, it's not like what it seems. I'm not. You'll see my post of I'm catching fish, but I go maybe 4 or 5 times and don't catch anything. And you don't post I didn't catch anything post because that's boring. So it looks like but you got to do the work is what I always say. And I'm basically artificial. I rarely, once in a while, I'll use bait. Like ice fishing, we use bait. I had to do that, but most of the time I'm using hard baits. Jerk bait is my main thing, but I use all different techniques. But of course, just not only the technique and the jerk bait, but I also use every advantage. That's where the lip glue comes in. I mean, everybody calls me the lip glue guy because the stuff works. I love it. I use it all the time. I mean, that's not a prompt for anything. I'm not trying to push it again or nothing, but everybody knows I use it. And I use it on freshwater, silver. I use it on everything. So I caught a lot of nice pickerel this year. I got a bunch of skillful angler pickerel. I got the trout, a couple trout in there. I got big trout. And I caught a beautiful pike this spring with these really odd markings. If anybody follows me, or they could see my page, Wong.Gen, on Instagram and Facebook, they could see that pike because it was beautiful. That got a lot of hits and and I caught that on a big, I could say the brand of lure, right?
We can.
Yeah, the Rapala Maverick 110, the 110 millimeter.
Yes.
And of course, I put a thick bead of lip glue on the bottom that paste because it don't come off. It stays on there and it leaves a scent trail. I mean, that's what I tell everybody. They don't believe me until they see me use it and then until they see me catch. And then they start to come around. And then they're, I got to get me some. Well, that's you got to buy it. Get out of here.
Yeah.
But
And
it's
Jen,
really good.
I just want to say real quick, you touched on days that you don't, not every day is successful and you don't always post stuff when you don't catch fish, right? Which is fine.
Absolutely.
But I have to say, like I said earlier, you post so much success that the normal person can't fish that much in 5 years. So you are putting in a ton of work
Yes.
Even on the day, I mean, it's a lot of work on the days you're not catching fish because it's a lot of work trying to figure them out and it's not working out. And we've all been there, and it gets frustrating. And a lot of people turn around and walk away. But you outwork the bad days, and you create so much positive and confidence in yourself that the amount of stuff you're posting just shows everybody. I mean, you're out there catching fish, but there's no doubt about it.
Well, there's not only that, but besides just putting in the time and the work, there's so much involved. I mean, I got it calculated down to every little thing, like making sure I'm using the lure correctly and making it move the way I know that they're going to eat it. That's number one. And that's like jerkbait is like my specialty. They call me the jerkbait Jedi or something stupid like that, but that's what they say. But it is true though.
Yeah.
I really work at it, and you don't use it the same all year. Different spring is slower, blah blah blah. And of course, the non-variable is, and I can't say it enough. I'm putting lip glue on it, and how you move the bait. But it's also not just that. I got the sight, the sound, the movement, and it has rattles in it, and the smell. So that's that part of it. But then there's also figuring out the bite windows. So once you find that they're biting, they don't bite like people. They don't bite all day. People don't eat all day. But you want to get it where,
I do sometimes. There's been bad days.
Okay, yeah, well, I've done that too. But I'm just saying, you got to narrow it down. And once you go enough, then you could start figuring out the basic bite window, meaning like, oh shit, they're biting they're biting real good from 9 to 11, and then it's dead. So you pick your peak time, but you got to keep going to figure it out, to see what time's the best possible time. And once you narrow all these little factors down, that's the whole game. And I post a lot. I mean, I'll catch fish, but I post everything. I post big fish, but I also post little fish that I catch. I caught, actually, I went today. I caught a little stocky trout. I mean, it was fun. It was a little guy, but still, I posted it. But, I don't shy away from that. And everybody says, oh, well, it's a little thing. Yeah, okay, fine. I don't care. I caught it. I had fun. And that's the whole idea. It's a process.
Awesome. It is definitely a process. And I have to just, I'm trying to think about the fact is that I know you, I fish with you a fair, decent amount of time, but I'm also thinking about people watching this. And so for them, I will say that I listen to everything you just said there, right? And one thing that you touched on, which is almost hard to understand, is that I've seen you fish for different species of fish, salt, freshwater. You have a lot of unique movement that you put on the rod rather, to make the lure do something that to me is crazy. A lot of times it's
Yeah.
crazy. So I'm thinking about people watching this, and everything you just said was a lot of stuff, but maybe what we could do is maybe we touch on, you talk about jerkbait. You definitely use the jerkbait a lot. You definitely lather it up with lip glue all the time. No doubt about it. Something that people can't see or just visualize from what you're saying um, is the movement. And I will tell you that I freshwater fish a lot. When I saw how you did the jerk bait compared to what I do, I'm like a jerk pause, thinking about it, just suspended in the water. And sometimes you're on with that, sometimes you're not. But I've watched you fish with it totally different, and different, like you said, at different times of the year, depending on the bite. So for the people watching this, let's talk about the jerk bait for a minute in fresh water. And if you could just kind of, I don't know if you're, if you consider it secrets, you don't want to give them away, or you do whatever. But I think it would be cool to give people some, because there's a lot of very advanced fishermen that do not fish a jerkbait the way you do. So if you could touch on that, I think it would be great for everybody.
Yeah, I mean, to me, the jerkbait is the most versatile lure if you use it correctly. And I found out over the years, I've been fishing the jerkbait since the original floating Rapala jerkbaits. And I've learned to, with all the advancements of the all these new jerk baits, all these new companies, and all this stuff. I've learned to use it to its maximum for each time. The different every year there's seasons, and then every season you don't fish it the same. Like in the cold winter months, you fish it violently, like the initial when you let cast it out, the initial cast, you let it sink, and then I do this violent thrashing to make the bait go side to side all around, but then you pause it. And with the suspending jerk bait, see they'll see it, and if they're not close, they'll come look at it. But if you don't pause it long enough, they're a little bit more lethargic in the cold water temperatures and that time of year, and the just that time of year. So the longer you wait, the more chance they're going to eat it. So, and then of course, when in the warmer months, you could work it faster, different cadence. But I like to like what I tell people when I'm trying to tell people how to do it. If you when you pause it and you do the stuff I tell you, like the violent, just to get their attention, that gets their attention. It makes the ball bearings make the noise. It gets their attention. Then they want to look at it, but that don't mean they're going to eat it. But then with the colder water temps, they're not going to chase. But when they see it, when you're waiting and the pause, and it's just like motionless and it's just there, it makes them want to eat it. So, and I tell people, like, they say, how long do you pause it? I said, once you think you've paused it enough, then wait some more. And that's the best thing, especially in the colder months. It's deadly. They kill it. They hook themselves, and because they have to eat it. It's a reaction bite to the lure. Like, oh, that's an easy meal. It's just sitting there. I'm gonna kill it. Yeah. And that's how that works with pretty much all species that would eat that kind of bait.
Right.
So
yeah, and fishing with you, I noticed that like you just explained it. I tend to I would tend not to be as violent after it hits the water, and as you do, and I also wouldn't pause as long as you're doing it. So really, I'm working the same. If I'm working the same 110 Maverick next to you, yours looks totally different than mine. The only thing that's similar is the pause, but the timing, the amount of agitation when it first hits the water, totally different. And that's fishing with other people. You're catching more than me. I go to school on you. I pick your brain a little bit while we're together, and you've helped me a ton with that.
Well, another key point that I didn't mention is you got to have on the jerks slack. You got to have slack in your line. You can't have it because that allows the bait to turn almost completely around, because the bait is with the bill on the front of the lure is designed to go side to side. But if you have a lot of slack line, it will almost do a 360, almost, and that triggers them. That's another trigger. But you got to have a slack line. To be honest, what helped me with my evolution or whatever you want to call it with the jerk baits when I'm using it, I talked to Kevin Van Dam years ago. He took the time to talk to me at ICAST. He took the time to talk to me, and I always admire him, but I always admired his techniques and his videos about jerkbait, because he was, to me, the king of jerkbait. And he stressed to me, he said, if anything, if you don't have enough slack, you're not doing it right. And ever since then, and then I amped it up to our area, how I fish, what I was fishing for, and it's just it was amazing. That was the whole evolution, and like I crossed over a threshold and became an even better angler. Right. Just from a few words talking to Kevin Van Dam, who is the man and still is.
Well, listen, a few words from Kevin Van Dam are, especially if it's on a topic that you're interested in, are enlightening. And for somebody like me who, you do the same for me. Like I'm out with you, and I'll watch you, and I get enlightened by it. And I got to tell you, most of the people around you, because I've watched some conversations happen around you. I've been on boats with you in the saltwater or in the freshwater on the banks or whatever. People will come by and they'll be like, this is not his normal style of fishing. How's he doing? And they're like, he's friggin' doing damn good. So I think you have that, you have enough experience in you that you pick up on stuff that you don't know, which is not a lot about fishing. You know a lot of it, but I know you pick up on stuff fish. So the ice fishing thing didn't surprise me this year. To hear you were out there doing pretty good with the ice fishing. Jen, let me ask you a question on the jerk bait. Because really anybody can fish a jerk bait.
Oh, absolutely.
It's one of those baits that casts well. It could be a little windy out, still casts well. You definitely work it a little different. I would love to do like some on the water video with you.
Oh,
and
sure.
we made this whole channel hasn't been a single how-to video yet, but that's why I started this channel, and it's been nothing but hours of conversation because I guess I like the bullshit, but. We're going to do some how-tos, and I think this would be great. Tell everybody what you go after multiple species with the jerkbait, don't you?
Yes, I've caught everything on jerkbait. I catch perch. I've caught white perch. I've caught. Actually, recently we went walleye fishing. I catching walleyes on the jerkbait at night, which was awesome. Yeah, I mean, and that's a whole different technique. It's not like fishing during the day because that was at night. And
Right.
there's so many variables and facets to, I'm learning stuff as I'm fishing too all the time from other people as well. I mean, or just from the experience. The fish bit it like that. So you go and you learn from each experience, and then you just keep adding to it. I gotta
Plug it in.
Yeah.
I've done that too. Don't worry about it. This
Yeah, I
is
had the
raw.
low power mode.
This is a raw podcast.
Hey man, that's
there's
the kind
minimal
I
to.
like. I'm
Yes.
just like a regular
The,
guy, just
yep.
trying to catch fish, loving
Yeah.
what I do.
Yeah. No, we know you. We know you love it. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah.
I want to touch on, if you don't mind, just because you talked about the way you fish that jerkbait. I just touch on it. I'm not a huge trout guy, but fishing with you for trout, it was an eye opener to see how you fish for trout
Oh
and
yeah.
how successful you were at it. And if you
Yeah.
and you did, I think you told me over the phone basically how I was going to have to fish, and I was like, I don't know. I've never fished for trout like that before, but I also haven't caught a lot. So I'm far from good at trout fishing, but going with you was interesting. Can you touch on that a little bit, and then maybe we'll get into some saltwater stuff?
Yeah, actually, it's funny that you said that. I mean, I've gotten good at trout, and trout used to be like I should take my kids opening day. It was like a tradition. When I was young, opening day was a big thing, catching trout, and I learned it. Well, I'm kind of proud of just like what I do with the jerkbait. I have this technique that I kind of created, and everybody's copying it now. It's a float and a jig and the pink Berkeley worm, and but the way I move it and I violently shake it, and again, it's just like the jerkbait. It makes it a reaction bite, and what happens is that worm, the way I move it in the water with the float, and it's at depth, and I fish it deep, and it makes it wiggle through the water, and it makes them mad at it. It makes them want to kill it and eat it. I get them to bite sometimes, and they're not really hungry. I guess I'm thinking, but the way you move it, it emulates and what's called an emerger, which for trout, that's what they eat. The bugs that hatch in the water, and they're called the worm goes like this, which is when they're called an emerger because they shake out of their shell. They have a shell to get out of that shell and then go to the next stage of hatching, like bug hatch. And actually, I caught what was it, 8 pound, 9 ounce or 12 ounce rainbow trout, 25 and a half inches. It was huge.
Yeah.
Big stocked fish, monster. But that on 4 pound test ultra light, that was so much fun. on
is
my
nice.
technique. And like I'm kind of proud of it because everybody copies it, but not everybody gets it. And it's again, it's all tied into the reaction. It makes them want to eat it. It makes them want to bite it. It looks like something alive, or blah blah blah.
Right.
And I'm kind of proud of that because everybody copies it, and I walk around there and they say, "Oh, he caught a big one." Everybody knows I caught it. I don't have to say shit. Sometimes I didn't post, and then the next day I go. They all had this. There was somebody there that told everybody, "Oh, he caught a monster," all that kind of stuff. But I'm kind of proud of that, even though it's not my main thing. But
You should be. Listen, anytime people are, imitation is the purest form of flattery, or whatever, however the saying goes. You should be proud of it. And I got to tell, you explained it, but I got to say, the different, what else is interesting about it is I've been there with you. I've gone there with you. You've provided me with whatever float, or I bring what I think I need, and then basically you tell me to throw it all out and use what you have. But
yeah.
the thing that's interesting is you are so comfortable with the rods that you use. And I've, when I'm with somebody, like if like you've handed me your rod and I look at it, like to try to, I want to see what kind of action it is, what size it is, what brand it is. A lot of your rods are so worn I can't even read
Yeah.
what it is. But the cool thing is that you are comfortable with it. You got reels on there that I probably can't buy anymore. They haven't made them in 20 years, but you love them and you're comfortable with them. And when I watch you do the action, like we're talking about trout fishing in like a lake, or a smaller water body, and watching you do it and then trying to do it like you do it with the same worm, the same float, basically the same hook, maybe a little different rod. It's hard to do because the action that you put in your hand to get that rod tip to move, which relays down the line through the float to the hook, you're catching more fish than everybody because you're so confident with it and you're so comfortable with doing it the right way. But it is cool. You did invent it as far as I know, and nobody else is doing that except whoever learns it from you. I mean, I've never heard of anybody else fishing for a trout like that and actually catching numerous fish.
Yeah, I mean, but again, I left out a little part on that little worm and that jig head. What am I putting on it? I'm
I
putting the
know.
lip glue on
Yeah.
because to me, even if it's only in my head, but I know it's not,
Right.
that extra scent, the scent. Now it's the motion, and I'm at the right depth, and I'm making it move right. But then when it leaves a scent trail in the water, when they smell that, if you have all these components, you're ahead of the game.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's got to
100%.
be. I mean, I sound maybe repetitive or corny, but I use that. I put it on cereal. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
no, no, I know.
That's good
And
stuff.
realistically, listen, it's a business that I'm in, and I'm only in it because everything that I'm involved in is something that I've either I use or in some form or fashion, and I either tried to improve it or whatever. But the interesting thing about like the lip glue is I went out yesterday to catch first day on the kayak, and I caught a bunch of bass. And I have some of my soft plastics and some of my jigs were marinating in my scent for, I think the one bag probably haven't touched it in 2 years. I have like so many people, I have tons of different lures and baits and all. But even my jigs, the jigs with the rubber skirts, those are all soaking in lip glue as well because I've gotten to the point where I won't fish without it either. But what's interesting about you, because a lot of people have commented to me, they're like, man, this guy, Jen, he says he uses it on hard baits. I said, yeah, I've seen it and I've seen his success. And the interesting thing is, I've seen you fish at the mouths of slow moving water. And I've watched you put the lip glue on there and it doesn't come off right away, but you tend to put it on a lot. And you think about it, you're creating a scent trail that's just working its way downstream. And if you bring fish anywhere, and it's not going to bring fish in from 100 yards or 200 yards away,
No,
but if you get fish in the vicinity and they want to eat, and then you throw that that jerkbait out there with a couple violent hits, like you said, I think it creates a picture that makes it very believable for that fish to believe that that piece of plastic with three trebles on it is real, and they go and eat. And if it helps a little bit to get him to bite it,
that's the whole game.
we all win. That's all it
That's
is.
the whole game.
That's it.
You
We just
you
need them
using
to commit.
absolutely. I mean,
Yeah.
I can't stress it enough. I even in my posts, I even show people that I'm putting it on my lure on the bottom, and I show them how to do it, and like
Yeah.
they're starting to get it because
Yes.
I mean, you got the movement, you have the sound, and then when you have the smell, what else is
Right.
there? That's like
Right.
basically like a live bait, pretty much. Because
Right.
so there you go. I
And
mean,
another interesting thing about you is you have access, because me and you are friends. You have access to any of the different scents that I have, and you are the shad guy. You
yeah,
pretty much in that fresh water, you're running the shad
yes,
scent.
yeah.
And
Um,
and that and those gels have actual real ground up shad in them,
you know what?
pieces.
It's my favorite, but it's not the only one that I use. I mean, the crawfish. We use the crawfish in saltwater on blackfish jigs. On the
Yes.
blackfish jigs with the live crab on it, and like a lot of times I'll crack the shell. I mean, not to get off, to get into blackfish, but I'll crack the
Yeah,
we
go
crack
ahead.
the shell. It makes it easier for him to eat.
Right.
I'll we put the lip glue in the shell of the crab. So, like a lot of times, if it's soaking in the water, and then it starts the natural smell starts to leach out. But with the lip glue, it's more smell.
Right.
And if the natural stuff leaches out, it with the lip glue will stay on longer than the natural scent, and they
It
kill it.
does.
And we went to Rhode Island. I'm going to make this short. We went to Rhode Island, me and my buddy Chris, and we won the pool. We went 2 days in a row. We outfished everybody. And then the one guy wasn't catching as many, so we gave him a jig. We gave him a jig, and we gave him a squirt of the stuff, the crawfish lip glue. He got like a 5 pounder. He was happy as a. He went nuts.
Yeah.
But yeah,
That's
I
cool.
can't stress it enough. It's a big part of what I do. It's that extra step I was missing for years because I used a lot of
Right.
other scents. I mean, look at the market. Look at the fishing market, and not to plug Berkeley Gulp, but Berkeley Gulp changed the game. They changed the
Absolutely did.
game with
Yeah.
the plastics and the scent, and that changes. That is now like the standard in saltwater for a lot of
Yes.
things, a lot of people. But to me, that's the game. That's
And
that
what's
extra
interesting.
step for me is
Yeah.
the lip glue, bar none.
And what's interesting is my products are liquids that are popular, but the gels I make are super popular.
Oh,
And my gels are partially, not exactly 50-50, but they're partially water based and they're partially oil based, with real chunks of actual bait fish, whatever it is, whether it's shrimp or whatever, crab, whatever, it's shad. It's got actual particles of ground up fish in there, with other stuff that I have in there, amino acids and different things. Some UV is in there. Um, those gels that I've been making for years are what you're really talking about. They're hugely popular. I call them a sticky gel, right? Well, you just mentioned the other company, and that's a water-based scent that changed the game for them. Well, this year they came out with a partial oil-based, partial water-based gel
yeah.
that
I
looks
wonder
exactly
why.
like mine.
I wonder why,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, they came out with it. It's amazing. When I say it's amazing, I've had people call me up like, "Hey, did you see this?" I'm like, "It's I make a bait called the Bottom Bling." Well, about 2 years ago, that same company came out with a bait named almost exactly the same as mine. Mine's trademarked, but very very close. So it's an interesting and they're one of their competitors, because I'm far from a competitor to them, but one of
Yeah,
their competitors I know has reached out to me. It's a Florida-based company, and they're kind of doing the same thing. They're following the lead of the other company, and it's again it's good because in the end the fishermen win, because you got multiple choices of good products, and if one of those particular products lands your confidence, makes you more confident, and that's the one you stick with. then you're a winner, because honestly, we all need that. I mean, there's a lot of bad days
Oh
that are a
yeah.
lot of times you'll be like, you know what? I forgot I had that lure. I used to catch them like crazy on that lure last year. You pull it out and you catch a fish, and it turns your day around. So we need it. So in the end, the competition in the industry is good. It keeps everybody innovating and working hard. And I'm a one man show pretty much. So it's a lot harder for me to come out with something and actually get it out to market and then keep up with it. But I'm doing my best.
Well, I'm going to be honest. Before you or before lip glue, I've tried all this other stuff. It's horrible. Some of it came right off. I said, how is this any good? It came right off. Like the oil base, the one you try to soak it in, it just comes off. It didn't work. And I don't even, the scent might have been good if it stayed on, but it never did. I've tried them all. And like I said, Berkeley changed the game because it's impregnated in the material.
Yes. Yes.
And with the paste or the glue, the gel, I got lures in my box. I can go in my tackle box I have different bags for different species, and everything has lip glue on it. I got stuff that I took off and changed the lure to use another lure. There's still gel on
Yes.
it.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
can't beat
You
that.
know, no, you can't beat it. I mean, I had guys on using it on bunker spoons that said we have to quit. We have to, we have a really good day out on the water, and we got to quit like an extra 10 minutes early, because beside cleaning up and cleaning the boat, we got to clean all the spoons, because there's always a little residual of lip glue gel on there.
Yeah.
And you're right. I mean, I do fishing shows during the show, the inside show season. And like this year, I was at one of the shows I was doing. I showed this particular bucktail I have, right, beat up old bucktail with an old Jersey Fluke belly on it. And in the bucktail, I put a lot of gel, or a lot of my lip glue scent in the hair of the bucktail.
Yes.
And I said I've been bringing this to like 2 years worth of shows, because it hasn't fallen apart yet. So I fish with it, and then it just had a unique color, and it ends up on a table, and then like 1,000 people a show will touch it, and I'll be like, yeah, that's got scent on it from during fishing season, and they're like, no
Yeah.
way. I'm like, actually, I've been using that for about 2 years, and that's the truth. I mean, I do. Get the same effect as you. I'll open up a package. Like yesterday, I opened up a package and my jigs were all ready to go. They're already scented. And I still add more anyway, but it definitely
Oh,
lasts more than
you
anything
can
else.
never have enough on there. I got
Yeah.
one more story for you that I gotta say. I gotta tell you.
Go
We were
ahead.
striper fishing, right? I forgot my lip glue. I forgot my lip glue
Oh,
stink.
no.
Believe it or not. But like my buddy, I knew he had some, and I said, "Well, everybody's using. Can I say the names of these popular lures?"
You can say whatever you want on here. This is
All
this
right.
is a
Well,
raw
they
podcast.
had the NLBNs, right?
Okay.
That's
Yep.
the trade. I had I stopped at Phil's at the tackle box. I said, "Phil, give me
Right.
something." He said, "These are pretty good." And they were invincible jigs,
Right.
same type of Elastic tail, all that,
Right.
but a bigger profile. I had the 7-inch with the jig head. It was beautiful. We were fishing for stripers upriver, not the big ones, but smaller. And I said, "Shit, I forgot my lip glue." And because I put it on everything, it's just habit. I just do it. So I said, "Chris, you got your bag? Is lip glue in your bag?" Yeah, go ahead. Oh, okay. I put it on. I had 6 fish in the boat before anybody got one. Oh,
Really.
one guy
Yeah.
had one, but it came off on a big plug.
Right.
They're saying, "What the hell's he doing?" They're freaking out. I mean, they even got it on tape. And they were amazed. They said, "What is he using?" And then they said it was a secret lure that Phil gave me. It was not a secret lure. It wasn't NLBN. But I was killing them. I ended up
Right.
catching 12. I caught a third of what everybody caught out of 5. I forget how many
Right.
guys. But it was because of the lip glue. And
Yeah.
all right, the lure too, maybe. But they were using
Of course.
NLBN, which is almost the same lure, same material, Elastic, all that
Right.
stuff. And to me, it was the lip glue. It was
Well,
the
the
lip glue.
difference is you're leaving a scent trail behind, and once they get in that scent trail, they're going to come and hit. They'll hit
Well,
the bait.
once they figured out, oh shit, he's using my lip glue. They were putting it on their lures, and then what happened? We're
Yes.
all catching now. But I
Yes.
was laughing.
Yeah.
I was laughing at them. I mean, I was fishing with Chuck, and they were saying, Chuck was laughing his ass off. He says he's putting on a
Yeah.
clinic, and
Yeah.
and they even taped me putting the lip glue on my jig.
Yeah.
But that's the whole game. It was
Yeah.
nuts.
Well, it's definitely a good piece of the puzzle that people should at least give it a try. Listen, it's inexpensive. It's easy to use. If you flip open the top on an 80-degree, 100-degree day out on your boat, it's not going to leak out all over the center console. It's not going to, you can leave the bottle, the tip up so you can put it on your bait easy. And unless you hit like 110 degrees, it's not even going to liquefy. So it's easy to use, and it definitely makes a difference. And
I
Jen, hold on a minute. You mentioned a tackle box, so I got to shout out to Phil. Phil and his son are invited on. They're going to actually come on here, hopefully soon. Great guy, both of them. I even met the sister. I think great people. Um, Great tackle shop. He actually keeps my product in stock. He has the stink and the saltwater buffet, the lip glue. He's got my baits that I make. So just because you mentioned Phil and he hooked you up with with baits, I figured I just mentioned a tackle box in Hazlitt.
I love him. I love the family. I knew the dad and the mom since my kids were little. She used to always give my kids candy because we'd stop for bait or something or lures, and we'd
Yeah,
always stop there. She loved my kids. I mean,
yeah,
my guys are grown now, 30-something years old, and
right,
all that stuff. And I know that whole family for years. I knew
yeah,
Phil when he was little. It was
right.
awesome. So
Yeah, good families like that. Hard
yeah,
hard to find, and good family owned shops like that with tradition and heritage built into a location, the same location. Hard to find.
and you know
Those are
what?
those are salt of the earth places.
He's not like some of these other places. I'm not gonna say anything, but some of these other places, they're just looking to sell you something. Phil will tell you what's catching or what
Yeah,
somebody caught on. Like we were going for what is the mahi? We were going for mahi last summer. I needed something. I said, look, we're going for mahi, but what do you got? Oh, you got to have these epoxy jigs. They were killing them last week on them. I took those out. We slaughtered mahi. It was just so much fun, and it was that lure. And he wasn't looking to sell it to me. He was telling me what worked that he knows from his other customers, and then of course I went back. The next time we were going out, and they were all gone. They didn't have any
yeah,
left.
yeah,
He says, I sold them
yeah.
all. You should have bought them all when you were here. I said, oh, God, you killed me.
Exactly. Well, listen, we're going to touch on. I want to touch on Fluke because Fluke season opened. I think it opened in New York too. Correct?
Yes, it's open. I
Yeah.
haven't got
So
a chance to
we're
go yet, though.
we're going to touch on that, but I want to just say something. Because this is so important, really, and probably a lot of people know this already. But for the people who what I'm going to about to say, for the people who don't realize it, maybe they're new in fishing or hunting. This podcast is a hunting and fishing podcast, right? So we just spent a few minutes giving Phil Phil at the tackle box got some plugs from us. No pun intended, but we talked about it. But what I want to express to people is. If you're into hunting, you're into fishing, and you could be into, I don't care what you're into. You could be in arts and crafts, whatever. You got to support the local stores
Oh,
for
yeah.
a lot of reasons. There's a lot of reasons, but you got to support the local stores. You can go online. Everything is easy today. You can order it online, but that's not the best way to do it. Because when you support the local stores, and you make not only are you bringing them money, which allows them to have products on the shelf for you when you go in there. They got to move things, right? But you create a, like Jen just said. Jen knew his whole family there, right? So when you have a relationship with like a store owner, whether it be a tackle store or a local hunting shop or whatever, um, that relationship allows that store owner to talk to you and help you, just like you mentioned. And those people, those folks, whoever they are, whether they're the owner or the worker, that's his job, and he's there every day. They gather so much information from all the folks that are out there fishing and trying and testing out different things, and their favorites didn't work this week, so they take a recommendation from the store owner. It is such a huge. Jen is talking about my scent and certain baits and how it's all, I mentioned puzzle pieces. It's all tools in a toolbox. That local tackle store owner, that local hunting store owner is a huge piece of the puzzle, because sometimes you need information that only they have, because maybe our circle's a little smaller. Their circle isn't small. They have people coming and going every day, spending money. The cheap guy only wants to buy certain things, so he narrows it down. The guy who's not afraid to spend money, he may try other things that maybe aren't even recommended. And in the end, the store owner gathers all this information, and Jen walks in or I walk in and we're friendly with them, and they know that we're good customers. They share really good information with us that in the end is going to help us. So definitely support your local tackle shops and your hunting stores for all the right reasons, not just for convenience.
Oh, absolutely. Like I said, just those couple stories, two stories there alone. Just the little bit of information that he has, that he's privy to from all of his customers. That's key. It helped me have like a lot of great days. I mean,
Right.
and he's not. They're not. Most of them are not like just to sell you something like the big box stores. You
Hmm.
get a personal thing. You go to like one of these big box stores. They don't even know what they're selling. They have no
Right.
idea, no clue. It's just something the buyer ordered, and it was cheap. They got a bunch of these junky lures or whatever. I mean, come on.
Right.
Where Phil is, or any of these smaller businesses,
Yes.
that information is invaluable because they're in touch with everybody, with guys like me who
Yes.
just walked in and
Yeah.
came back. Oh, that killed, and it just that bit of information. It's invaluable. It'll
Yeah.
help
And
you
and
get
you
over the hump.
absolutely will. And you made a good point. And I should have, in my little spiel that I just made, I didn't say the word. The mom and pop stores are they're
Yes.
they're the ones that are so important, because they're usually, if it's an owner, or their only worker, or maybe they only have two employees or whatever, they're there all the time. You go to a big
Yes.
store, big gigantic store, like you said, you don't know who you're getting. The guy might have got moved from, one department to another, and he ends up, in there. And, you and I can tell right away. We ask a
Yeah.
question, and just by how long it takes him to respond, we're like, oh boy, this is not,
Yeah.
no offense, you're not going to beat the guy up over it. You just know. But when you deal with the mom and pop stores, you're getting the people that order the product for the shelves because it helps the fishermen, and because they know it's going to sell because it's a good product. And the mom and pop stores are the ones that really need to be supported the most. No doubt about it.
Absolutely. I mean that's key. It's the whole thing. I mean, I can't stress that enough. I mean, like I always will stop there, even if I don't need anything. Just number one, I like Phil. I like the family, just to say hello and ask him about his mom and the whole bit. And it's just a relationship you build up. But then, like I said, on these trips, you get this little bit of information, or you get that one lure that you get the lure that they're killing on this week, and that's it. And he's never let me down. Even the dad or all that time. Oh no, don't get the worms. Get clams this week or whatever it is. They
Gotcha.
got their finger on the pulse of what's
Yeah.
going on because they get the feedback from the people, from the customers, and they share it. There's no
Right.
secrets. It's
Right.
it's awesome.
No doubt. No doubt about it. All right, Jen, before we wrap this up, we got to touch on something that's about to be a really hot topic. It's called fluke season. So, let's just spend a couple minutes, and then after that, we'll bring this to a close. We touched on a couple different things. Fluke season's open. I haven't been out yet. I don't know if you've been out yet, but give us, if you don't mind, give everybody just a couple, like maybe some tips, some ideas, just maybe how to start the season out. What areas or what type of water they should be looking at early in the season.
Yeah. Well, right now, I mean, we got tournaments coming up, but like my guy, one of my, and the guy that has the pole, he's the captain of the tournament team. He's having some health problems, so that's kind of up in the air. But anyway, right now, everything's shallow water. I wouldn't fish any deeper than 15 feet, 10 feet. I mean, typically you'll catch 5-6 pounders in like 6, 7, maybe 10 feet of water, because that's where they are right now. If you're fishing any deeper than that, you're fishing empty water. They're all in the shallows, and I've heard a couple of reports, and there are guys out there killing them because they're fishing in where they are, the shallow water. It's just key. Use a lighter jig. You could use a single jig. Normally during the season, I'll use a high-low, blah blah blah, with the ball jig or whatever. But now you can use a single jig and just work those shallows and just keep going but try to stay. And then once you get a bite, you'll know what depth they're in, and you'll have an idea. And that's the whole game. They're all shallow this time of year. It's guaranteed. Not that I usually say nothing's ever guaranteed, but it is guaranteed now that all the fluke are shallow. They come in, they're in the shallows. And then they start moving to the deeper water when it gets really hot. So,
Cool.
there's guys out there already catching them. I think one of my buddies got a 4 or 5 pounder, and they got a 3-man limit.
Okay.
Already. So, but they were fishing like 11 feet of water, 10 feet of water.
Right.
It's amazing.
Cool. All right. And you've caught some stripers already, right?
Oh yeah, we've been on the stripers. Actually, we caught, I think, how many guys? 5 guys. We caught like almost 40 stripers up the river
Really?
2 weeks ago, and that's when I was using that invincible jig and the super stink, scent.
Yes.
And it was key.
Good.
It was awesome.
Awesome, man. Cool. Well, we're enjoying your social media, and we're living vicariously through you while we're all, most of us are working, and we're watching you. And it's funny because you fish with a lot of guys that work full-time jobs, and they're still out there. They somehow or another, they're either out after work on the weekends at night, or they get sick and can't go to work that day. But
most of the guys I fish with or that I know, they're like maniacs. But you got to be. That's the game. I mean,
so let's plug something, because you just mentioned, I was talking to my buddy Jeff today about these maniacs that you're speaking about. Most of them can be seen on Joe and Chris's Facebook page. What is it? Is it called
Mayhem?
Multi-species mayhem. Yeah, I mean, these nuts, these characters, these fish maniacs that we're speaking of. I was just telling Jeff, I think they're like a certain part of New Jersey, because the group of you guys, and I mean, I've been out with you guys, but I'm not even in the pack. That pack is running wild. That multi-species mayhem page is just tons of shit on there. It's great. So definitely check that out. Obviously, anybody watching this is probably already watching their podcast. They're on a couple of years running, and over, I forgot how many episodes they just reached, but the New Jersey Multi-Species podcast,
over
definitely
100.
check them out.
Over 100 episodes.
Yeah. They're the only reason why I'm sitting in front of a microphone right now, because I started doing it with them and just kind of enjoy it somehow. I love this. It's like talking on the phone to you.
Yeah.
But I get to look at you and laugh, and see if there's any new chains on there or hats in the background.
They got Chucky's shirt on. Chuck.
Oh, I didn't even know that. Oh, he's got a Team Time. I love it. Yeah. Now listen, let me mention him for a minute, because I don't really, he's just, to me, he was like just a legendary guy.
Oh God.
Little did I know little did I know is that this crew of guys, which you're one of them, somehow he's going to get connected with you guys. And I was just talking to Eddie Mackin a little while ago. I think Time Man is out, and hopefully I'm not. I don't think he has. I don't think he has a report to a job, but I think he's out on Lake Apacon right now. But what's interesting about all of you guys is you got connected like with him, and he got connected with you guys. You guys are ice fishing now. You guys are, chasing striper on his boat. The whole thing is, it's if you're into fishing, you got to get kind of involved in this whole crew in some form because there's a lot going on.
It's actually it's unbelievable how like-minded and insane
Yes.
we all are, and
Yes.
it's just that's the way it is. The only way I could explain it. We're like insane about fishing. I mean, Chuck is
Yes.
the man. He fishes for everything too, and
Yeah.
he's
Yeah.
he don't leave anything. He checks all the boxes, and as far as like stripers goes, forget it. We call him the GOAT. He is the best,
Yeah.
the greatest. He's unbelievable. He's
Yeah.
awesome. I love the guy. He's insane.
And you know what? He belongs with you guys, and you guys belong with him because you guys are all so similar
Yeah.
in the mentality of what you're going after. I mean, I can't I can't even begin to think about keeping up with you guys. I mean, I just enjoy watching it.
You're always too busy. I mean,
I know
you're always too busy
I
trying
know
to whatever you're doing. I know you're
I
busy.
know. I get involved. I'm involved in a lot of different things. I own a couple businesses and have a family, and somehow or another, I have no time to do anything. I like to fish. I like to hunt, and somehow or another, now I took this on. So, and you know what? I'm enjoying this as much as I enjoy making the deer lure and the fishing products. So I get joy out of it. But really, you thank God I get to know all of you guys because I get, like I said, I get to live through watching you guys out there,
Yeah,
and
we're
I
all
find I
nuts.
find a little time. I
Yeah, I
find a little
mean,
time to get out there.
this podcast is great. I mean, I was watching the one with Brett Favre. I mean, that was awesome. I'm not number one. Okay, I'm a Packer fan, but and it's Brett Favre. I mean, shit. But um, I remember I was watching you. I said, man, it's like he's been doing these podcasts forever. Everything's naturally flowing. He's talking normal. Everything is really good. Like there's so many podcasts and YouTube channels with guys, and it's so humdrum, and it's like it's I don't know. I don't know how to explain it, but this one is good. The Mayhem one I love, and I've done a couple that were good, but they don't have the range or whatever it is. But you're a natural at it. It's like
Wow.
I remember you were
Well,
asking me, did you watch it? And I said, well, it's hunting, and I said, but the parts that I did watch, it's like wow, it's smooth. It's not, and I'm not a hunter. Okay, I'm gonna be
yeah.
honest. I don't hunt. But it didn't make me want to like, oh, I'm not watching this. I watched it because the questions were, it was normal. It seemed natural. It's like you've been doing this shit forever. I swear.
Well, it's no zero preparation, zero research, and I haven't been doing it forever. I've been doing it for
But that's pretty damn
about
good
seven
then.
episodes.
That's
But
pretty
it's
damn
fun.
good.
Yeah, it's fun. It's fun. I actually have people reaching out to me now that want to come on here. I can't even
Oh, that's awesome.
understand
I mean,
why,
I'm
but
honored to be on here. To be
oh,
honest.
geez, that's yeah. Well, I'm honored to have you on here. You kidding me? Yeah, no, I don't know. I don't know where it's going, but it's all about having fun, getting information out there. I just did one with a company that I actually use his product, and it'll air at some point over the next couple of weeks. But it's interesting because there's a lot of products I use that now because I've been doing this 19 years in the hunting industry. Um, I started to reach out to some people, and like this guy I spoke to the other day, he's got a couple businesses in the hunting industry as well, and I started talking to him just like I'm talking to you, and I've talked to him a few times before, and he was like, "Man, those are some great ideas," and I'm like, "Oh, doesn't everybody tell you that?" He's like, "No, you use my product different than other people." So yeah, so it's all good. It's fun. It's just another outlet to talk about the stuff we love. We love hunting, fishing, outdoors, camaraderie, friendship. And making memories, man. This is what we love. So that part of it's natural, and that's about the extent of it, though. But Jen, listen, we're gonna wrap it up. Anything else you want to add before we?
I mean, if whoever don't know me, I mean, and that's understandable. They can follow me on Facebook at Wong.Gen or Gen Wong, and on Instagram at Wong.Gen, I think. you,
You don't even know
will
it.
see my ugly mug on there, and you can hit me up, follow me, and I'll follow you back.
Yeah,
And
that's awesome.
I
And
don't have
and
any
then
secrets. I
I have
share
to
as much as I can.
I have to ask you, how you've been called Jen, you've been called Gino. I mean,
Yeah, I have a
how many
lot of
names do you have?
aliases.
You do.
Yeah,
Okay. All right.
yeah,
Well,
over the
that that,
years.
that
Yeah.
comes with the years, right? Okay.
Yeah, like
Well,
sometimes, yeah, things
definitely
change.
tune into Jen's page because he does a lot of really cool fishing content and you'll enjoy it. So, all right, Jen, listen,
Well, I
thanks
got
so much for
one more
coming
thing I
on.
gotta
Oh, go
add. I
ahead.
gotta plug my new sponsor, my Fishing FX, the rod company. It's high end Torrey carbon fiber rods with all this really good stuff. I mean, check them out. Fishing
Okay.
FX. Um, really awesome rods. They're custom rods for that are mass produced for the public, but with designed with the custom rod idea of how a custom rod should be, but without the custom rod, the one of rod price.
Price tag. Yeah.
Like you could buy it from the store, from our site. Fishing FX.
Yeah. Fishing FX. And I know I've been out fished by Jen using the Fishing FX rod. So
Yeah, yeah,
it definitely works. So,
yeah. It's
all
good
right,
stuff.
Jen.
Thanks.
Thanks. I'll see you out on the water, bud.
Yes, sir, man. Thank you so
All
much.
right. All right. And also don't forget, tune in and watch Jen cook. You'll see his
Yeah.
kitchen. He's in there. He's got that wok going, man. There's all kinds of good stuff in there.
Oh yeah.
All right, Jen. Good seeing
Thanks,
you. Take
Steve.
care.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Bye now.
Bye.
Bye. At this time, we'd like to thank our supporters and sponsors. Signal 11 Lures, Lip Glue, New Jersey Multi-Species Podcast, Sever Broadheads, Jersey Fluke Bellies, Favorite Fishing Rods, Timberlife Outdoors, and Buck Knives. If you enjoy the content on our podcast, please like and subscribe and turn on notifications. And please tune back in for our next episode. Thank you.